What is up my valid peeps, Kaden here for another video on my OC project, Stalgias the Amber Savior. If you haven't checked out my previous 3 videos on this project, which I have made a playlist, I suggest you go watch those before this one to get a better understanding of this project. With all that being said, be sure to comment your thoughts or any questions you may have about the project, like, subscribe and share this video, and let's get started. Now the focus of this video on the Stalgias project is a new hero. Firstly, I'll go over their design concept and creation. For this hero, I wanted to incorporate my interest in robots, mecha and technology by making a hero with mech suit-like armor and technology-based necessary techniques, the latter of which will be explained later. Like with before, I created a Minecraft skin to get down how I wanted this hero to look. I wanted the final design to involve elements from Gundam, the helmet of which is kinda like that, and in the references for the drawing of it included the head, one of the shoulders and one of the forearms of one of my favourite Gundams, the Earthly Gundam. Once my artist friend was ready, I sent off these 10 references along with the payment and they got to work. This took quite a long time to be finished, due to the aforementioned mech style design, which I had to run by the artist just over a month before I commissioned them to see if they were okay with doing it. When actually designing the hero, they said they found them rather complex to execute, but I reassured them that a little challenge didn't hurt and they got there in the end. Now, presenting my new hero for Stalgias the Amber Savior, we have Pakido, the Crimson Sentinel, made by Third Eye Artistry once again. Fun fact, their title was originally going to be the Scarlet Champion. Here's the Minecraft skin next to them, along with a couple prototypes from when the artist was making Pakido. This hero's name is derived from technopathy and machine, the former of which is part of their set of techniques. Anyways, Pakido is a new hero that debuts near the start of the series' second season, and their powers and power source are the same as Stalgias and Legendary, but their techniques are different, which I'll get into later in the video. Their transformation phrase is Crimsolate. This triggers the transformation, which is once again very similar to Stalgias' and Legendary's, covering the user's whole body in crimson coloured energy, which quickly becomes the Pakido suit. Of course, with a new hero, that means a new human character. Let's get to that. Here is the first version of their design. I knew a few things I wanted to put into this character when I was designing them, being that they were black, non-binary, and had dyed straight hair. The first change came because I wanted to increase how much of the hair was dyed green, and the second change came because I realised the colour of their clothing was way too similar to Kayla's. Although I kept the clothing style the same since it wasn't used by her or Tessa. Now for the final design that I ended up with, after I encountered a tweet about black people's hairstyles, I changed both their hair colour and hairstyle, now being dyed entirely a darker shade of green than before, and in a short afro style. Due to how long Pakido took, I had to wait till a couple days later to commission Third Eye Artistry to make the hero's civilian form. And once I had some time and they were ready, I sent over the references and they got to work. And now, presenting Pakido's true identity, we have Quin Ryback. I love how Quin looks, and here's their Minecraft skin on the left for reference. Quin is a 20-year-old non-binary individual with they/them pronouns. They love mecha and making video games, and like coding and technology. They don't like working late or delays, and don't enjoy getting lost or being in crowds. Personality-wise, they're hardworking, organised, innovative, and honest. In the second season, Quin makes their debut before Pakido, being a long-time friend of the main character, Kayla Osrin. Although Quin doesn't know of Kayla's superhero identity at first. When Stalgias and Legendary are taken out by an unexpectedly strong derelicts, Quin learns of the two's identities and suddenly transforms into Pakido for the first time, in front of Kayla and Tessa, and defeats the derelicts. Of course, Desideri techniques are what makes each Desideri unique, and we'll go over those now, but quickly, here's Pakido Helmetless. Unlike Stalgias or Legendary, they don't hold their headgear in their hand. Since the Pakido suit has nanotech-like properties, the helmet can materialise and dematerialise around Quin's head at their will. Due to the late start in the day on designing Quin, Helmetless Pakido had to be done half a week after them, the next time I was free. When Pakido was originally being made, Third Eye Artistry was concerned that Helmetless Pakido was going to be rather difficult, and when it came to actually making the Helmetless version, it was still rather difficult for them to draw due to Pakido's design, And while they did still finish the commission, they said they wouldn't allow future ones similar to this due to the complexity and would change their commission rules to fit this after. So it was rather fortunate this was the last one for Pakano. This was going to be done in a different pose initially, but I asked for Pakano to be in a stationary pose instead, so they changed it accordingly. So now for Pakano's Desideri techniques. As I said in the design stage, I wanted them to have technology based techniques. So firstly they have Pakano Tech Grade, which allows Pakano to upgrade or downgrade any sort of machine however they wish, simply by touching it. Next is Pakano Arsenal, with which Pakano can generate any sort of weapon, gadget, tool or vehicle from any part of their suit. Thirdly is Pakano Digitize, and using this technique Pakano can turn themselves into data, allowing them to enter any piece of machinery and control it from within. The penultimate technique is Pakano Modify, which gives Pakano the ability to alter the programming of any sort of machine however they wish, by simply touching it. Pakano's fifth and final technique is one that was originally completely different, being Pakano Restore. By default it allows Pakano to fix any sort of machinery simply by touching it. However, by charging crimson coloured Desideri energy throughout their whole body, this technique can also be used to heal living things, though this exhausts Pakano after finishing using it. This technique was originally called Pakano Temporal, allowing for time travel 1 minute into the past or future, and before that was planned for Stalgias, being called Chrono-Stalgias, with no limits on how far they could go into the time stream. The main reason I changed it entirely in the end was because it was too far from what I had first envisioned for Pakano, and also was way too overpowered of a technique, even with the 1 minute limit I set on how far forward or back in time they could go. Last up is by Third Eye Artistry, with Helmetless Pakano being designed with Helmetless, Stalgias and Maskless Engineering in mind. It's the 3 Desiderans together, and I really like how this came out. Now no Desideran would be complete without the origin of how they became a Desideran, and here's Quin's. Quin takes great joy in making video games. This is their main source of positive Desideri energy. Their other positive Desideri energy source comes from their great interest in mecha, from watching them in shows and talking about them to putting together plastic models of them to display. Coding, not just video games but also personal projects, gives Quin positive Desideri energy as well. Lastly for this video are some more posters I've made featuring Pakano, Quin and Pakano Helmetless. Like with the posters from the last OC video, these are split up into 3 types, which are further split up into 4 categories of 1 or 2 posters each, making for 18 new posters altogether. The first type of poster is hero posters, featuring either Pakano on their own, or Stalgias, Legendary and Pakano together. First are just the ones with the logo at the bottom, then no logo but the hero's name and their transformation phrase at the top, then both of the previous 2 combined, and lastly neither of those first 2. The second type of poster is civilian posters, featuring either Quin on their own or Kayla, Tessa and Quin together. First are just the ones with the logo at the bottom, then no logo but the character's name at the top, then both of the previous 2 combined, and lastly neither of those first 2. The third and final type of poster is helmetless and maskless hero posters, featuring either Pakano Helmetless on their own, or Stalgias Helmetless, Legendary Maskless and Pakano Helmetless together. First are just the ones with the logo at the bottom, then no logo but the hero's name and their real name at the top, then both of the previous 2 combined, and lastly neither of those first 2. And with that, that's all the updates for the Stalgias project. The document for this project I mentioned at the end of the last OC video has been updated with the new content from this video. Thank you so much to Third Eye Artistry on Twitter for making Quin and Pakano. She takes commissions, so if you liked what you saw here, go and commission her. She does some great stuff, and I'll leave a link to her Twitter and portfolio in the description. Be sure to like, subscribe, share this video, comment what you thought of the updates for the Stalgias project, along with any questions you may have. Remember the link for the Stalgias document is in the description below, and I'll see you all valid peeps next time.